Hey, this is Tom. Welcome back to the shop. Today I wanted to show you a quick tip on how to make this beautiful transition called a lamb's tongue. It's most commonly used coming from a chamfer onto a square corner. In this case, I've got a low post bed, a pencil post style, where I have an octagonal shape here and of course the square of the post. You can see my mortises for the rails here. So I just want to show you how I go about cutting one of these, and it's really quite simple. First I want to create the chamfer and get that good and flat in here, and then I'll show you quickly how we cut the actual lamb's tongue detail. So in making the lamb's tongue, I first have to mark it out, and I've got this pattern here I've made for the pencil post detail. And you can see it's a reverse S-curve or a cymer curve, and the dimensions are approximately 2 inches long, and this depth is around a ½ inch. But anyway, I need to mark it out on my post, so I'm going to set the top right where I want the beginning of the lamb's tongue, and I'm going to use a pen so you can see it better here, although I might usually use pencil. Now you can get that line coming out, and then you can see this chamfer I've already have, which I made on the joiner. I need to carry that line over like that. Now I'm just going to make a saw cut and create the flat on the chamfer first. That's good. I want to just go down to my lines and not beyond. Now I can get rid of this waste. Get to this point, I can work by hand a bit. That's nice. Okay. Now, I'm feeling a little bit of a bump here, so I want to eliminate that so I get to a point where I feel a really nice, smooth transition. I just shifted to a paring chisel to do this part, although you can do it with a regular chisel. A paring chisel like this is just long. It has a nice flex, so it allows me to lay the flat of the back on here and actually bend and get a nice shearing kind of motion to create a nice flush surface. So I can feel still a little bit of a bump there. All I'm doing is holding the back of the chisel firmly against the workpiece and swiping, giving nice little sweeping motions with the chisel. So there, I'm pretty close to perfect. I'll come in from the other side a little bit, practice my lefty. That feels good. And now I can use a card scraper to clean it up. Nice. Now to get right in there, you can also use a little plane. I like to use a little shoulder plane for this kind of thing. So I'm going to come from each side. It's looking pretty good. nice. Now just clean up with the card scraper. And that's good. Now we're ready to cut the lamps hung side. What we've got, I'll give you a little better close-up look, is it just squared off like that into the base or beginning of the lamb's tongue. So we've got that nice area. Now on our workpiece, we're ready to cut it. Now I like to just use a regular bench chisel, and I'm going to put the bevel down and just start to rough it out. Just come in here. That's it. Once I get to the apex of that curve, I just want to stop. On the back side, I had a little more. Now, I'm going to work over and down into the flat chamfer. So I'll start with my chisel the opposite way, and with each tap, I'm just going to lift and raise, so it creates a curved surface. I'll just start out lightly first. And I'm getting close to the line now, so I'll make a nice curve. And that looks good. There's a nice curve right down into the flat. Now to create this, I'm going to use the chisel again, but come at it from both directions. That way the grain will not tear out on me. Again, I have the bevel down. That allows me to use this chisel in a curved way. Now when you're starting to get close, you can just use your hands without the mallet, and that's what I'll do here. I'm just going to set it and just roll it down and under to create that nice cove. That's pretty sweet. I'll come back this way. Just light cuts here. I just want to go until I meet the other cut at the bottom of that cove. It's getting really close. And you can go back and forth a little bit until you feel really good about it. Now up here, I'm a little high still. Now it's not perfect. You could leave it like this if you like that rustic looking lamb's tongue, but I like to give it a little bit of a filing. So this is a fine file. This takes out some of the segmented appearance. Or facets, you might call it. Now I'm working down over into the flat, and sometimes in order to prevent myself from marking that flat, I'll put a piece of masking tape across just like that. That way when I hit that surface, I don't want a scar going cross grain or I can make a bad mark. But the masking tape serves as a protection and a warning of when I'm getting a little too close. So now I'm going to the fine setting on this file, and I'll just hit the cove. Yeah, that's nice. And lastly, I just need to do a little bit of card scraping, get rid of those file marks. And I'll come down this way. Here you can see the masking tape doing its job. Now I just need a little piece of 220 sandpaper. Hit the cove. Looks nice and clear. I've never actually seen a lamb's tongue, but I imagine it looks a little like this. Or at least when someone carved this for the first time, they said, hey, that looks like a lamb's tongue. And now I can take it out of my clamp and check it out. Get rid of that tape. We've got a beautiful lamb's tongue. Gone from a square into that sweet transition.